Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Let's bring you updates on the lingering fuel scarcity. The federal government has assured Nigerians that premium motor spirits, PMS, commonly known as petrol, will be available nationwide before the weekend. The federal government gave the assurance through the Minister of State for Petroleum Oil, Heineken Lokobiri, on Thursday, who addressed reporters at the State House after a meeting with Vice President Kashim Shettima at the presidential villa in Abuja. The meeting was convened by the Vice President and included the Group Managing Director of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Mele Kyari, and National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu.
Okay, thank you very much. Someone by the Vice President, who was directed by Mr. President to summon this meeting. And we've been with him to brief him what is going on across the country. And what is important is for us to convey to Nigerians that the President is empathetic about what is going on in the country. He's concerned about the hardship of Nigerians, and that was why he directed the Vice President to call this meeting, for us to reflect on what is going on in the country. What is important is that products are available in the country. And we believe that between now and the weekend, there will be availability of products across the length and breadth of the country. The price could be high in some other areas, much more. Higher in some other locations, in some locations much more than, other areas. But we believe that by the time, there is availability of products across the country, the price itself will stabilize. But what is important is that government is not fixing prices. This sector is deregulated, and we believe that with the availability of products, the price will find, its level. And this is important, for Nigerians to know. The summary is that President is empathetic about what's going on. That's why he directed this meeting. There is enough product in the country to be able, to meet the demands of Nigerians, so there should be no panic buying. And we also believe that Nigerians need to know that government is not fixing prices. I think that is what, I want to convey to Nigerians.
While we await that relief, it is obvious that the country is grappling with one of the most severe petrol shortages in recent memory, a crisis that has not only disrupted daily life, but also sparked significant economic concerns. For the past 8 weeks, Nigerians have faced considerable challenges in accessing petrol, resulting in long queues at petrol stations, many of which have been forced to close due to none or insufficient supplies. News Central's correspondent Juliet Rowland compiled this report.
The ongoing fuel scarcity in Nigeria has triggered a dramatic rise in prices, making it increasingly challenging for both individuals and businesses to buy the fuel they need. Many motorists now find themselves waiting for hours and in some cases even days just to fill up their tanks or buy what they can afford. These prolonged waits have become a common sight across Africa's most populous nation.
Everything don't cost. As well cost. Motor, if you want to enter bus down, going to anywhere now. If instead we enter 200 naira bus, go anywhere we are going. They don't turn out to 500. If we reach any filling station, if you don't see queue for that place or plenty people for that place, you will buy for either 1,000 naira or 1,100.
As petrol prices keep rising and availability declines, the consequences of this crisis have gone well beyond simple inconvenience to actual disruption of transportation, commerce, and everyday life. Now in many cities in Nigeria, numerous buses and taxis remain off the roads, leaving many commuters stranded and forcing them to walk long distances or pay inflated fares.
I stay in a redemption camp. From redemption camp to Bega before is 400 naira, 500. But now it's 1,000 naira.
Before we are paying 2,000 from our side to Djibouti. But now it's 4,500. This money the money I paid now is getting to almost 15,000.
Business owners are also feeling the impact of the ongoing fuel crisis, with the inconsistent electricity supply and their generators all over twist need for fuel. Many are finding it increasingly difficult to keep their businesses operational. the inability to access affordable fuel not only hampers their day-to-day operations, but also places their financial stability at risk.
We are buying fuel inside our generator. The price that we are buying the fuel is too much.
It's really affecting us, honestly. Even after buying it, on our way coming back, maybe something we used to carry like 2,000 naira, we have to pay 4,000 or 5,000 naira to bring it back. Even inside the market, the goods that we normally buy maybe from 50,000 naira, as of that yesterday, we bought it like 65, 70,000 naira.
Nigeria's situation is ironic. Despite its abundant oil resources, it relies on imported fuel because of its outdated domestic refineries. Stakeholders agree that this is unsustainable and recommend improving infrastructure by increasing refining capacity, fuel distribution networks, diversifying energy sources, and implementing price control. But with Dangote Refinery commencing petrol production, will this ease the deficiency or lead to other issues?
Away from that, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has slammed the federal government, saying that they remain engrossed in inconsequential affairs despite rampant destruction across the country. He said the government is rather preoccupied with arresting protesters than addressing the worsening insecurity in the country. In a post on his X page, Abubakar condemned the terrorist attack in Yobe State on Sunday, which claimed several lives. Insurgents on Sunday attacked Mafa village close to Shekau, the hometown of the late Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau. The gunmen stormed the village located in Tamua local government area, killing many, with several houses burnt down. All right, before we bring in rights activist Omoyele Sowore to speak on this, let's quickly touch base with our correspondent who is en route to Sokoto, Emmanuel Bagudu, to give us an update. He's currently on the ground in Zamfara to give us an update on the rising insecurity in the north. Emmanuel, thank you for joining us tonight. I understand you are in Zamfara en route to Sokoto. What is the atmosphere currently in Zamfara, and are you getting any impression from the people about the redeployment of service chiefs and federal government response to rising insecurity, especially in the northern region?
Yes, actually, it's actually a feeling of anxiety right now since the announcement of the expectation of the service chief in the entire crisis-affected northwest region in Nigeria. So a lot of citizens are waiting, and of course, a lot of security is being beefed up. And of course, we see the Zamfara Community Protection Guards, in the height of their games. Of course, I arrived at Zamfara this evening without any crisis, without any threats. Of course, everywhere is calm, no threats of any attack. Of course, the last attack that happened around the Gusau axis was the one in Tafi, sometimes in February. And since then, our residents actually confessed that there was no such attack since that of Tafi, just 10 kilometers into the state capital, which is Gusau. So all expectations are high, a lot of anxiety, waiting to see that this service chiefs arrives the region. And of course, don't forget the emotions. Of course, they are still mourning the death of the emir of Gobir, of course, in Sokoto East, which of course Zamfara is actually a part of the Sokoto family, was created out of Sokoto State. So of course, all anxiety are there. If not for anything, the service should at least come and give them some kind of consolation. Yeah.
I know you're still far from Sokoto, but are there any updates that you can give to us as to what the minister and service chiefs have been up to since they relocated there?
Yes, all that. We have most of the crisis affected part of Sokoto, of course, is the Sokoto East, where we have local governments like Goronyo, Isa, we have Ilela, and then of course Guadabawa and all that. Those are the local governments affected with crisis, and we have the senator representing that axis, Senator Ibrahim Lamido, who actually made a security intervention, which we're going to be tracking that when we get there. So a lot of expectations are there to see how these already locally created security are going to what kind of new strategy is going to put in place since the demise of the emir of Gobir. A lot of changes are being expected. All citizens within the Sokoto and the Zamfara axis are expecting a lot of interventions, based on this incident. So a lot of expectations we're going to be expecting. By tomorrow morning, we're going to be dishing those out, and we're going to, be reeling out all that is happening within, of course, Sokoto and Zamfara axis. Yeah.
All right, Emmanuel, thank you for speaking with us. Do stay safe as you go about getting us all the latest updates from the north. Thank you. All right, let's bring in now Omoyele Shawari to speak to us on the submission by Atiku Abubakar asking the president to do more to demonstrate a heightened commitment to safeguarding life and property. Talking about the service chief being redeployed, some people will say is something that it's like from a script. So we'll not focus on that. I'd rather you speak specifically to the appeal to show heightened commitment to safeguarding lives and property. That is, if they choose to listen.
Anything new? We have stated repeatedly that this is a government of frivolity. This is a government that abandons the needs of the people and focuses on the needless things of society, including their shopping lists, which has been the reason why Nigerians have been very upset and why we had the days of rage in August. So since they haven't learned their lessons, we're going by the way they reacted to the exercise of rights by Nigerians to freely protest, associate, and assemble regarding the conduct of government. They have, instead of listening to the Nigerian people, arrested, detained, and forcibly arraigned people for treason. And several others are in detention in Kaduna and Kano for offenses that have not been disclosed to them. So what former Vice President Atiku is saying is, in my view, even late coming from him. Everybody who is a Nigerian and a major political force at this time should not be issuing statements. They should be on the streets as well with Nigerian people, in solidarity with Nigerian people, to ensure that this country is taken back from this condition.
But governance protest, like you rightly noted, and some people are still being held as a result of that protest. It has been condemned, and there's been calls for their immediate and unconditional release. But I wanted you to speak specifically as to what immediate actions, beyond the redeployment of service chiefs and the Minister for Defense, to show clearly a demonstration that they are listening to the people and that they are taking actions to forestall further escalation of violence and criminality.
Well, you mentioned earlier, and you were right, that this happened to be a script that has been done several times by frivolity, and that's why I said it's a government of frivolity, asking service chiefs to relocate to a portion of Nigeria so that they can attend to issues of security that has been there and are grievous. It's nothing new. The police IG was asked to relocate to Jos. There was a time the chief of army staff said he was relocating to Borno State, only for us to hear that he went there to be selling fish from Baga. And so serious government should have dedicated its intelligence gathering agencies. It must have increased its ability to intervene. How can terrorists enter a village and kill 127 persons, and there's no intervention from government? There's no, aircraft flying in the air to stop it. There is no troops on the ground to be approaching the place. And they killed 127 persons and just moved on like that. We've seen one of the terrorists in Sokoto who bought an MRAP that was worth 1.2 billion naira ahead, just like that. And then there are these bandits, even on TikTok, doing giveaways. So it shows to you that there's a breakdown of law and order in the country. And instead of government to focus on securing the country, they are deploying police resources in Abuja to beat up, harass, arrest, and injure protesters who are asking for a better country. And they're spending police resources, both legal, physical, and mental, to prosecute people for peacefully assembling themselves, whereas they leave the criminals, the terrorists, kidnappers, murderers, and bandits to roam free across the country. This is the problem. And as we have always said, what happened in August is the beginning of how Nigerians
Sir,
are
I'm trying to interject. If you can hear me, I'm trying to interject, and I know we're saying the same thing about how they are failing, but I was hoping for a more positive submission tonight in terms of what action.
If you are looking for positive submission, you should ask the government, not me. I'm not. You know, we are in
okay, let's leave the government now. As a human rights activist.
I'm not here to give you an optimistic news that Nigeria will get better. It's not going to get better.
I'm not looking for optimistic news, actually. I'm looking for more of constructive advice for the government.
We're in a state of total pessimism right now. People are hopeless. So why are we deceiving ourselves?
Okay, so let me speak to you in your capacity as a human rights activist and ask you to speak to the people. These are really hard times. What would be your message to Nigerians drowning under this strain of skyrocketing prices?
Well, Nigerians have a choice, either to continue to suffer in silence or organize themselves and stop agonizing and do what is best. Speak to the government the language they understand. And we have said that we're planning for there to be another, a round of protests starting from October 1. And a lot of people are saying that is even too long. And we've spoken to them and said, whomever can organize and start, we are with you. And we heard that even in Lorin today, these tricycle riders have started. So we hope that Nigerians understand that we either bond together, fight for our own survival, or perish together. And I hope we don't have to wait to perish until we get back, we get this country back on track. The country has been taken in the wrong direction. And all of it is showing. Everywhere, every region has a problem. You are ready to pay for fuel, is not available. They increase the price, is not available. You moved from band 0 to band A electricity, there's darkness. You want to go to school, they've increased school fees. You want to go to hospital, the hospitals are not functioning.
I guess the problems are multiple, however you look at it.
Before you react, Nigerians, what are you waiting for?
Mr. Shawari, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you for
we
having
appreciate
me.
your time. Staying with security matters, the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, has commiserated with the families of the victims of Tuesday night's attacks on Darfur and Quarters communities that left 8 people dead. The renewed attacks, according to the locals, were unprovoked as they were asleep when the unknown gunmen stormed the villages and opened fire on the victims. The governor, in a press statement signed by his Director of Press and Public Affairs, Gyang Bere, condemned the attack while describing it as both tragic and intolerable.
Yes, this is a one-off occurrence. After quite a long while, I think, especially on the plateau, we've not had this kind of attack until yesterday. So I will not really say it's been on the increase. And there can be many reasons for that. We are looking into it to be able to profile what the real issue is and then provide solutions. But I think it's just one of those things where we know that there are some people that are not happy when they see there's peace on the land and people are happy, they don't like it. And we think it is one of those groups that must have done what they did yesterday. And we are looking at it and we should be able to nip it in the bud.
To discuss this, we're joined by the Commissioner of Information and Communication, Plateau State, Musa Ashams. Musa, thank you for giving us your time. He says it's not an escalation of violence, but it is a renewal, it seems, of what we thought was in the past. Could you give us an idea what led to this renewed violence and maybe what the government is doing to ensure it does not spread?
I think I should be talking about what the government is doing because the motivation behind these renewed attacks is devilish, is satanic, is just shamanism because it is unprovoked. There's no reason for it. And as a government, we've put in motion things that will stop these attacks. But the assailants do not negotiate. They do not inform us that they are coming, and we thought that the intelligence world would do better in nibbing this cancerous behavior in the board. Well, it has happened, and we have been bruised as a people. We've lost 7 or 8 wonderful souls. 5 other persons are receiving treatments with degrees, with injuries of various degrees in different hospitals. We pray for their quickest recovery. And, I don't know why these bandits will just be killing people from one part of the country to another, and they don't get arrested. Nigeria can handle this situation. It has festered for long. I think it is time for us to look at other developmental indices rather than these devilish behaviors that we keep counting on day in, day out. As a state, we haven't had this kind of attacks for a while, and we hope that the peaceful atmosphere, peaceful ambience we've been enjoying will be sustained. Then lo and behold, the daredevils struck. We are saddened. Our people have lost their lives, and we pray that those that are responsible for securing lives and properties are going to arrest this kind of bad behavior, this kind of devilish acts. And Boko's local government is one of the most accommodating local governments that you can find in this country. If you find Irish potato in your community, it's likely that it is from Barikilla, Dirio, Mangu, Bokos, Jos South, or any other local government on the plateau. So it's agrarian community. It is a land that is rich. We have cultural heritage that is wonderful. But we don't know why these people will always come to our land and would like to take our lives unprovoked.
All right, Musa, the truth is, whatever good is happening is overshadowed once a single life is lost. And that is why I asked that if you could give us an idea what the government is doing to ensure that this does not, even though they don't give you information, intelligence and all of that could help. Talking about intelligence, News Central not so long ago organized a town hall meeting in Jos, in June to be precise, and we had various stakeholders come to suggest ways forward for a lasting peace. I want you to, has there been any action since that town hall? Are you aware of this town hall? What has been the impact, if any? Because the idea is to move forward and provide peace for the people.
I participated in that town hall meeting, and almost all the key actors or key players, as you would like to put it, were present. Peace is something that you work for. Peace is something that you must sustain, and we are hoping that with the kind of engagement we had, especially with the one that News Central brought to Plateau State, that we would have gotten to the end of these kind of carnages. On the plateau, we have a budding peace-building agency that has been engaging people from time to time to see that we do not have a repeat of this kind of attacks. Well, like I told you, they are daredevils. Their pattern is guerrilla-like, and when they come, the idea is to leave sorrow, tears, and blood. And sometimes they do that successfully. And, as a government, we have tried to empower the peace-building agency to handle the idea of peace building, to handle the idea of dialogue, to handle the idea of interface, to handle the idea of people talking and purging their emotions, and at some point striking a balance or coming to a positive conclusion. But like I told you, these devilish actors, their concern is just to kill. And when they kill and get away, what they do is that they regather, they recoup, and they go to another community, or they come to the same community. Like Boko's local government has faced this kind of attacks.
All right. Quickly, what would be your advice to the people in the community that are scared at the moment, probably to even leave their homes and go about their businesses? What reassurances can you give to them in 30 seconds, if you can, please?
Instead of giving the people reassurance, it's better that I call on security agencies to redouble their efforts to secure our people, to secure their homes, to secure their farms, and of course, to secure their means of livelihood. And we have always been living peacefully with our neighbors, with whoever has come to Plateau State. So if you want to stay in Plateau State and enjoy Plateau State, it's better that you live in peace. You can't go and be killing our people and get away with it. One day, the monkey go market, you know, go return. I don't know how to put it. I'm sad. It is a painful incident. We don't pray that it happens again. God will continue to secure Plateau State. God will continue to bless our people and our land.
Thank you for speaking with us. Elder Statesman and former Minister of Information has condemned statement made by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, saying he will set fire to states governed by governors under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Clark, who spoke to newsmen in Abuja while calling on the Inspector General of Police to effect the arrest of the minister, says that his comments were made in bad faith and negates every rule of the nation's constitution.
Wike has breached a number of Nigerian laws, public laws, and so on. He has committed crime. And for him to call on, to say that he will burn states belonging to PDP governors and so on, is treasonable. All of their totality, Wike has committed treason. There is a serving minister in the Federal Republic of Nigeria saying that he will burn the states of his colleagues, he will burn their hands and they won't sleep again in their houses. He will do everything to disorganize the governments of those states. Nobody, no governor, no minister,
The Labour Party, LP, has been plunged into further turmoil as the Julius Abure-led faction disowned the newly appointed caretaker chairman, Nenadi Usman. Despite a previous Court of Appeal judgment affirming Abure as national chairman, the Labour Party National Convention constituted a caretaker committee, sparking controversy. Earlier, Senator Usman was declared as the chairman of a 29-member National Caretaker Committee of the Labour Party. Reacting, the Abure-led faction rejected the caretaker committee, insisting that Abure remains the legitimate national chairman.
He also notes that assuming, without conceding, that the tenure of the current National Working Committee has even expired, we must state clearly that it is not the responsibility of Dr. Alex Oti as governor of Abia State to convene a NEC meeting for the purposes of setting up a caretaker committee. It is still the responsibility of the national chairman and the national secretary of the party to convene such a meeting. He will not hesitate henceforth to discipline any member of the party, however highly placed, who is not ready to obey the constitution of the party and indeed obey the lawful directive of the leadership of the party. In this regard, the National Working Committee went ahead to set up a standing disciplinary committee. Consequently, it is our view that for anybody to hold the opinion that there is a vacuum in the leadership of the party is not only mischievous, but a deliberate attempt to cause panic, to cause chaos, and to disrupt the smooth workings of our great party, the Labour Party.
Away from that, President Bola Tinubu on Thursday in Beijing, China, highlighted the critical role of global collaboration in achieving collective progress and prosperity. In a statement from Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajirin Galale, it was noted that President Tinubu made these remarks during the opening ceremony of the 2024 summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation at Beijing's Great Hall of the People on Thursday. The statement said that Tinubu praised the China-Africa partnership as a model for sustainable development and shared prosperity. He highlighted the partnership's visionary approach and its potential to foster exceptional growth and development for both Africa and China.
A landmark of our relationship came in year 2000 with the establishment of the FOCA. This platform has been pivotal in strengthening our economic ties and reaffirming our commitment to mutual progress. despite the global challenges we face, whether the economic or geographical. Our partnership has stood firm, resolute, and offering a powerful example of what can be achieved through respect for sovereignty and non-interference. One of the highest highlights of this collaboration has been the flourishing economic partnership. Trade between Africa and China has grown exponentially, reaching an estimated $280 billion US. These impressive figures speak volumes about the strength of our economic relationship and expanding integration of our market. I say, China's Belt and Road Initiative, aligned with the Africans' own infrastructure goals.
The first shipment of vaccines from Mpox, donated by the European Union and manufactured by a Danish laboratory, has arrived in the Democratic Republic of Congo. A first batch of 99,100 vaccines were delivered by plane to the Congolese capital, Kinshasa, at midday, according to an AFP journalist at the airport. The remaining 200,000 doses are due to be delivered by another flight on September 7. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are taking two different paths to prepare for their September 10 presidential debate, the first time the nominees will face off since Democrats upended their ticket this summer. Afia Hagen has more.
At the Throwback Brewery, Kamala Harris pivoted to the future, separating herself a little more from Bidenomics as she tries to run as a change candidate from an incumbent administration who's driving Donald Trump to distraction. The vice president on Wednesday stopped in New Hampshire, home to 4 precious electoral votes, before heading off to debate camp in Pittsburgh ahead of her televised clash with the former president next week that could define the election endgame. Harris's political momentum and her chances in November hinge partly on her success in painting herself as a fresh option for voters and dispelling any notion she's pitching for the second term of the unpopular President Joe Biden. Harris's attempt to convince voters she's a new breeze is infuriating Trump. The ex-president's comments and his campaign statements bristle with frustration that Harris, after 4 years in the Biden administration, is getting a fresh look and that he's lost his role as change agent in the race. Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance expressed incredulity that Harris could attempt this pivot in an interview on radio on Wednesday. The Ohio senator sought to thwart Harris's image makeover by stressing that she was an incumbent. Vance also rejected the vice president's plan for lowering grocery prices, even as he admitted that not every American corporation was an angel. On Wednesday, the Trump campaign dismissed the Harris small business plan, arguing that she would push for higher income taxes and expanded inheritance taxes, amongst others, that would hurt small firms and consumers. The ex-president has previously balked at the vice president's adoption of his own proposal to end taxes on tips, which was especially seen as a play for hospitality workers in the swing state of Nevada. But at this critical moment of a bitter and close campaign, both Harris and Trump seem less concerned with economic policies that are proven to work than those that can deliver an immediate political benefit. For News Central, I'm Afia Hagen.
Let's now join our business team for today's update.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
In business, Ghana has invited holders of roughly $13 billion of its international bonds to swap their holdings for new instruments on Thursday, more than 2 months after reaching a preliminary restructuring agreement with two bondholder groups. Bondholders have until September 30th to accept the offer, though those who agree to do so before an early deadline on September 20th will be eligible for a 1% consent fee, the government said in its exchange offer and consent solicitation published in a regulatory statement on the London Stock Exchange. The West African gold and cocoa producer defaulted on most of its $30 billion of international debt in 2022 as the strain of the COVID pandemic, war in Ukraine, and higher global interest rates tipped it into crisis. It is overhauling this debt under the G20 Common Framework, which has seen Zambia and Chad also reach agreements. Ethiopia is expected to be next, but the setup has been widely criticized for being slow and cumbersome. The World Bank and French Development Agency have given Uganda more than $600 million to fund infrastructure development and manage waste in the capital, Kampala, the government and World Bank said on Thursday. Ugandans have complained about waste management and the poor state of the roads in Kampala, which suffers chronic underfunding from the central government. Last month, a garbage landslide at a landfill site on Kampala's outskirts buried houses as residents slept, killing at least 35 people. A total of $566 million worth in funding, much of it credit, will come from the World Bank, and $42.7 million will be provided by ADF, the statement said. Rapid urban expansion has exposed significant gaps in infrastructure, the World Bank also said. Last year, the World Bank said it would stop lending to Uganda after the East African country passed a harsh anti-gay law. And that's our offering on business news at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. The news continues shortly.
And in sports, African Footballer of the Year, Victor Osimhen, arrived Super Eagles camp after completing his loan move to Galatasaray, bringing the total number of players in camp to 23. Favor Itwa has more.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Still talking football, Nigeria Super Eagles forward Moses Simon has declared that the team is going all out for a crucial win against Benin Republic in the 2025 AFCON qualifiers this Saturday in Uyo. The Nons winger emphasized the importance of the match as the Eagles seek to secure their qualification early.
Of course, we lost against them 2-1. I believe we don't want to lose or draw against them. I think we always beat them. So, and the guys knows what they have to do to win. We don't go there to draw. We don't go there to say, okay, we are fighting a war or something. We just go there to play our game and do our best to win, to give the smile faces to Nigerians.
Meanwhile, reigning African Footballer of the Year, Victor Osimhen arrived at the Super Eagles camp in Uyo on Thursday afternoon and received a rousing welcome by his teammates and officials before training at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. Osimhen joins the team after sealing a loan move to Turkish giants Galatasaray. Burundi were impressive against Malawi's Flames as they defeated their hosts 3-2 at the Bingu National Stadium in a 2025 AFCON qualifier on Thursday. Burundi's opening goal came from Chinweme Indana's own goal in the 22nd minute before his teammate Chawanawangwa Kaungas equalized in the 31st minute. The visitors took the lead again through Jean-Claude Girumugisha 2 minutes later, but Malawi fought back again with a goal in the second half when Lanjesi Nkoma capitalized on Kaunga's assist, sending the fans into ecstasy. However, a late second-half strike by Makono Eli Eldiho sealed a shock win for Burundi. With this win, the Intamba of Burundi are currently top of Group L, with Senegal to host Burkina Faso on Friday. In other results, Angola stunned the Black Stars of Ghana 1-0 after a 93rd-minute winner by midfielder Milson. The Central African Republic defeated Lesotho 3-1 in Group B, while Congo edged South Sudan 1-0 in Group K. And finally on sports, the tragic death of Olympian Rebecca Cheptegei has sparked calls from Ugandans for stronger support and protection for their athletes. Cheptegei died in Kenya 4 days after being set on fire by her boyfriend, according to medical professionals and Ugandan athletics officials. Her death has amplified demands for greater safeguards for female athletes and stronger measures to deter perpetrators of femicide.
Yeah, we've really made the big loss. Rebecca would be a very big inspiration to many young Olympics coming in. In Uganda, we are trying to build up the Olympics. So when we are building up this and we are losing the same people, then it is a disservice to us.
May her soul rest in peace. That wraps it up on Sports Update. I'm Favor Itwa.
Tonight on Entertainment News, Fireboy's 2021 hit, Peru, achieved massive commercial success, charting in several countries, including US, UK, and France. In a remarkable milestone, the track has now earned the highest certification for a song in France. The remix, featuring British superstar Ed Sheeran, propelled Peru to even greater global success, charting in over 20 countries. It peaked at number 53 on the Billboard Hot 100, reached number 2 on the UK official singles chart, and hit number 28 in France. With over 450 million Spotify streams across both versions, Peru has garnered a gold certification in Denmark, 2-time platinum in the UK, and an RIAA platinum plaque, making it one of the standout Afrobeat songs in recent years. As part of Fireboy's third album, Playboy, Peru solidified his international success, earning him a BET nomination and a performance at the 2022 edition of the awards. With its diamond certification in France, Peru joins Oxlade's Closer, Arestar's Rush, Burna Boy's On the Low, and Rema's Calm Down as Nigerian songs to achieve SNEP diamond status. Fireboy continues his global ascent with the release of his fourth album, Adedamola, featuring prominent guests such as Lagbaja, Grammy nominee Seun Kuti, Lojay, and Grammy Album of the Year winner John Batiste. Spotify has won a court case that began in 2019 in which Eminem's publisher 8 Mile Style accused the company of streaming his music without proper licensing. The lawsuit sought £30 million, claiming that songs like Lose Yourself and Without Me had been streamed billions of times without full payment to Eminem. A judge in Tennessee ruled that while Spotify did not have a license to stream the tracks, the company is not liable for lost royalties. Any penalties, if imposed, will be Koblat Music Group's responsibility, as it handled royalty collections from Eminem's publisher. The case highlighted the complexities of music rights management in the streaming era. Eminem was not involved in the lawsuit, and his music continued streaming on Spotify throughout the case. Spotify defended itself by arguing that it believed Koblat had the rights to the songs and noted that 8 Mile had accepted royalty payments without issue since Spotify's US launch. The case ended with a summary judgment, avoiding a full trial. That's all on Entertainment Tonight. Moving away from entertainment, let's take a look at what's trending as the hashtag Justice for Christiana takes center stage after Adeleye Ayomide, a student from Olabisi Onabanjo University, was arrested for kidnapping, killing, and burying his friend Christiana Idowu, a student from FUNAB. He demanded a 3 million naira ransom from her single mother, which was later reduced to 1.5 million. The family raised 350k, but after paying, Ayomide stopped communicating. Authorities traced him through his betting and bank accounts, leading to his arrest. Ayomide also confessed to killing his ex-girlfriend in 2018 and his sister in 2020. With his family aware of these crimes, his extended family had long suspected him, and his cousins secretly alerted the authorities. Nigerians are now calling for justice and expressing concerns on social media. Let's take a look at some tweets. At Omolomo_O. In 2018, he killed an innocent lady. In 2020, he killed his sister. In 2024, he murdered Christiana. His name is Adeleye Ayomide. He must face the full wrath of law. At Aproko_Doctor, the members of his family who also covered up the previous murders should face the law. At Obakesolo, I used to tell people that there's nothing like it's a family matter. We'll settle it internally. etc. I call them enablers because that's what they are. If someone commits a punishable offense, let them face the wrath of the law. Parents should watch it. At favorite_Ada, if he was jailed for those crimes he committed, Christiana will still be alive. I'm so sorry Nigeria happened to you. That's all on what's trending.
And that is all we have for you tonight. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Federal government has promised to stabilize petrol supply, rules out price control. Elder Statesman Edwin Clark has called for arrest of FCT Minister over threats to put fire in PDP-controlled states. President Tinubu has urged deeper Africa-China ties at 2024 summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. We also told you that the first Mpox vaccine have arrived in DR Congo. Do send us your eyewitness report to the number showing now on your screen. You can follow us on social media for updates and to share information at News Central TV. You could choose to watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and on YouTube. Many thanks as always for watching. Have a good night.